Good morning, honorable members. My name is Regina Morioki. I work with...
Good morning, members. My name is Regina Mutahi. I work for EACC Assistant Director.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Rakita Nkiasha, the personal assistant to the CEO. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Washira Wamwago for EACC.
Good morning, Chair. Yes.
Oh, Patricia, not yet.
Okay. So Patricia Chebet from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, a liaison officer attached to this committee.
Thank you. So all the rest are members of the Fourth Estate. Chair, welcome to this meeting. As I was trying to explain previously, we had written a letter to you, and so I know you're ready with the responses. As a committee, we've gone through audit reports for county executives and county assemblies, and we have forwarded to you several reports. And because then the contents of the letter and the details of the letter are well known to you, we'll give you an opportunity to present your responses to the committee, and then members will weigh in for clarifications when the time comes. But for now, just give us your responses to the issues that were raised by the committee. Karibu.
Thank you, Chair. We indeed confirm that we received your letters, the one of 11th of July 2025, inviting us to come and give you an update on matters that were presented to the ODPP and withdrawn and the status of the same. We have prepared a report on the same and will update you. We also received your letter of 25th of August 2025 asking that we submit a comprehensive report on cases forwarded to our office concerning county executives and county assemblies to the office of the Director of Prosecution. Sorry, I've mixed the two. But this one is to update on matters that you forwarded to us from the Office of the Attorney General, not Attorney, Auditor General, that needed our action. We have prepared a comprehensive report, which I believe we have given you copies so that we can take you through the same. So I'll invite our CEO to just take us through this report, two reports that as requested by your committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Karibu CEO.
Thank you.
Yes, Senator Gay, from a preliminary issue.
One is, since this report all of us have it, it would be prudent, Chair, that you guide, if with your indulgence, of course, and that the matter is ongoing, can at least highlight, especially on the issue of major concern, especially on the issues of county executive, on the issue of DPP, Chair, so that we don't, since we don't have EACC here.
We have EACC.
Sorry, DPP. And I've seen the question that the CEO wants to discuss in the cases that have been withdrawn by DPP. And in some of your concerns, you have indicated that some of the cases were withdrawn and the consent or withdrawal you have contested. Chair, in the principles of natural justice, it is unfair to accuse somebody who is not in this meeting. So would it be in order if I request that on the issue of withdrawal of cases by DPP be deferred to a later date until DPP are on this meeting, so that, Chair, so that we don't want EACC, DPP to be discussed in absentia by EACC. I wish the DPP would be here, so that if he says like a matter has been withdrawn but EACC are contesting, then we can know where the problem is. So I thought that should be clear, so that we don't discuss DPP in absentia, then call DPP independently, then call EACC independently. Can we defer the issue of withdrawal of cases by DPP until the date that DPP will be here with EACC?
Yeah, members, when we were writing this letter, we knew these cases would come. Cases of withdrawal of cases by DPP, but we did not invite DPP here. So do you think we should go the way Chararge is saying, or we should just go by the report the way it is? And again, DPP would get an opportunity to come and explain these cases. What do you think, Senator Wambua?
Chair, I want to respectfully differ with my colleague because of two things. One, the EACC does not choose who appears before this committee. That's the choice of this committee to make. So if you wanted the ODPP to appear alongside EACC, nothing would have stopped us from doing that. Secondly, I don't think that ODPP will suffer any prejudice by EACC stating their case, because I believe what is contained here are statements of fact. No, it's just facts. Yeah, these have been withdrawn. So if we find it necessary to engage the ODPP on the same issues, we can always call them here. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Senator Dulo?
Chair, I agree with Senator Wambua because this discussion is on record, and I think there is answered. And if we are serious, we should have invited both parties, if you really wanted us to go that direction. Whatever.
We are serious. Whatever we are doing is very serious.
Chair, let me give my opinion. Maybe it was an oversight. Let me give an opinion. So we cannot say that whatever EACC is going to say here, they are going to accuse DPP. Those are facts, and they have record for it. So, Chair, personally, I feel we should proceed. Where DPP feels that they can clarify on the matters raised by EACC, they have all the time to do that. And I think this is a house of record. We should allow EACC to present their case, and then we can invite DPP another time. Number two, since the report has 3 parts, maybe in the interest of time, and we have the record, they can give us the overview of the 3 parts. Then when if members have any question on the presentation, then we can actually come in. I don't know. That is my opinion, Chair. Thanks.
Chair, with your indulgence, I'm not objecting that the meeting proceeds. I think I'm being misunderstood. What I'm objecting is on part 1, where DPP has been mentioned largely by the EACC. And I know in the upshot of conclusion, the EACC might, in my own assumption, I'm not there saying that the weakest link I fight against corruption is DPP. And we are aware, Chair, that the PPP and EACC are in bad blood. So it is fair only that I am requesting that part 1, where DPP has been mentioned over 80% on question 1, we differ when DPP is sitting here and EACC is sitting here, and the committee will always have wisdom of inviting both parties. So I'm not against we proceed with the other parts in the interest of time. Then where DPP, we can direct Secretariat and request the indulgence of EACC so that we observe the principles of natural justice. We don't want, when we leave this room, it appears that EACC came to discuss DPP. We want the fight against corruption to be a united front.
Members, let me just say this.
That is my...
That the thrust of this meeting was to find out the status of implementation of our committee reports, which we forward to EACC. EACC does investigations, makes files, and they are forwarded to ODPP for possible prosecution. When a file is forwarded, we want to know when was it forwarded. Has prosecution begun? Has the matter been taken to court? If it went to court, what happened? And as they are stating in this report, there are some cases that were withdrawn by ODPP without maybe consensus with EACC. Members, why don't we wait for EACC to present their case? Let them present, and then we'll make a decision as and when we are required to do so. Chair, you want to make a comment?
Yes, I would like to make a comment and a clarification, Chair. the matter that we are presenting about cases that have been withdrawn is not on our own initiative. This committee wrote to us a letter requesting us to present a report on the cases that we have submitted to the ODPP and have subsequently been withdrawn. So it is not our own initiative to accuse the ODPP of inaction or anything. It is not even in bad blood, as Honorable Senator has said. So we are simply responding to your request to us to submit to you as a committee cases that have been, we forwarded to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution and have subsequently been withdrawn. So you'll find that report is limited to that report, to that, what you requested. So we have not gone off to give you how many other cases we have presented, but specifically cases that have to do with the counties that we have presented and have been withdrawn by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. So I just wanted to clarify that we have not come here to accuse, but we have come in response to your request. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I think that is very clear, members, that this was, just a minute.
Chair,
just a minute.
With all due respect.
Just a minute, Senator Cherargei. This is the request that we made. And it was possible for us to require ODPP to come here now in this meeting with the EACC, or later on to come and explain. It is within our purview to invite DPP later on to come and explain the circumstances that led to the withdrawal of these cases. Still, we have time. We're not dying today. Maybe I want to agree with Senator Adulo that instead of going through the whole report, if it is possible for you to...
With all due respect.
Yes, Senator.
Before you go to... Chairman, are you telling this committee it is the committee that provoked you to share with the public on this matter? And number two, you know you are denying the obvious. It is known that EACC and DPP are not in good working terms. But it is officially noticed.
Senator Cherargei, that conclusion...
Just so that we are not misunderstood, because
you can make that conclusion that there is bad blood after a discourse in this meeting.
No,
we have not even started the meeting.
Chair, with all tremendous
in
respect.
fact, if there is bad blood, it is for them to tell us that this was withdrawn.
No, Chair, let me prosecute my case. It is Wambua is a journalist.
To use our time effectively.
Chair, Senator Wambua is a journalist. It is judicially noticed. In legal practice, my seniors will tell you. EACC has been preaching about until he became the chair of EACC. So my concern only is that it is judicially noticed that EACC and DPP are not in good working relationship. And number two, Chair, which you need to correct and retract. You don't need to tell us it is on the motion of the committee that wrote to you so that you share with the public the cases that have been withdrawn by DPP. That's in bad faith, which means if PAC, through the chair, had not written to you a letter on the matters that the cases have been withdrawn concerning counties, you should not have responded. That's unfair. Don't you think, Chairman, Bishop?
Senator Mogeni?
I think, Chair, let's be fair. We are the one who sought for this information. If you look at our minutes, it's minuted. So let's hear what EACC have got to tell us this morning. If at the end of the meeting we form a conclusion that we may need an engagement with DPP, we can also give them their day. But I think for now, let's be fair. I plead with my good friend, Senator Cherargei. We allow EACC to give us the information that we sought from them. Then after that, we can deliberate on what we do with the information that is presented to us.
I think the senior counsel,
through me,
with your indulgence, through the chair.
Through me.
Yeah, through the chair.
Just, I'll give you an opportunity.
Okay.
That's why I went through the pains of going through the letter to EACC, and the last paragraph read The agenda of the meeting will be to deliberate on the status of implementation of the committee's recommendations as contained in the report adopted by the Senate on 27th March 2025, and to consider the report on cases forwarded by your office concerning county executives and county assemblies to the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, but subsequently withdrawn for the period 2013 to date. I don't know where we are differing. Is it
we are different?
Is it semantics? Is it
but subsequently
was not
withdrawn
clear?
for the period? Chair, you know, if you had agreed with me, we would have made progress with my colleagues. Because what I'm just saying is very simple application. That on part 2 and where the issues of withdrawal of cases by ODPP, it would be neater and more decent to have ODPP here so that they give us sufficient reason, because the role of EACC ends at the moment they forward the file to DPP for prosecution. So after that, they will only have the view when the matter is ongoing in court. So that is why I was thinking we can do part 2 and part 3. But when where ODPPs come, you are saying
They see opportunity. You know, there's something that you're confusing me on. You are saying or indicating there is bad blood between the ODPP and EACC. And you are saying, again, it would have been neater if EACC and ODP were here together, yet they are in bad blood. Would you get details of this meeting if the working relation is also good? Senator Wambua.
No, the blood can become good at some point.
Now, again, now we'll have to listen to us. Chair,
I'm always listening to you.
Both of you are talking about dying. You know, I don't know where that's coming from. Whether you die or you don't die, this committee will continue doing whatever it has to do. Chair, I think let us listen to the EACC. The simple reason, again, I will repeat, we chose who to invite, and we invited the EACC. We could have invited the EACC and the ODPP. We did not do that. So let's get the information. We have a lot of issues raised with the EACC on this report. So we want them to start making the presentation, then we'll take on them on their own report. I think let's listen to the EACC, Chair.
Yeah, and you know, really we forward these reports to EACC, and our counties and our people have been accusing us of inaction. That's so you call governors, you call assemblies, so what? But we've always told them we don't do investigation. We look at the reports, or we do our reports and forward them to EACC. Now we have invited EACC to come and tell us what they have done. Let's give them opportunity, members, for them to present their case or the responses. I think Senator will have to allow us to move on. So, CEO, go through the report.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe, as Senator Dula had suggested, you don't need to go through every case. You can look for a way of giving us an overview of what you're doing, and then we see how to progress.
Thank you, Chair. Let me say that the cases that we are presenting that were withdrawn are cases that are in public domain. They are in court. Cases that we are talking about here are not cases that are secret. These are cases that the DPP gave consent to prosecute. He charged people in court and later went to withdraw. So there is no secrecy about that. And I want to assure the Honorable for Nandi County that there is no bad blood between ODPP and EACC because we serve the same public. I don't know where he got that information from, but I want to leave it at that and say that there is no basis and read and understand why they were withdrawn. So check those few clarifications. So Chair, that we provide report on 2 issues. The first one are cases that were withdrawn after charging, after cases were presented and were withdrawn by the DPP between 2013 to date, which specifically concerned counties. We are not talking of any other institution. So for that period, we had 18 cases that were withdrawn. And the second table there shows the name of the county and the number of cases that were withdrawn. That Tharaka Nithi 1, Garissa talks about the year when these withdrawals were done. This shows that from 2013 to 2016, there were no cases that were withdrawn. Then, where we had major withdrawals were between 2023, where we had 5 cases, and 2024, 7 cases, 2025, 2 cases. Now, we have provided the specific cases that were withdrawn with the allegation, the details, the court case details, the action by the DPP, EACC action, and the final column talks about the action by the court. And just as you directed, we may not want to go through each and specific cases unless there is a good reason to do that. I'm willing to go through all of them. Just to say that if you look at case number 1, for example, is the one that talks, the one that concerns Isiolo County Public Service Board, which was withdrawn on 19 September 2023. Then the second one is on Makwiny County, is from Makwiny County, and the matter was withdrawn on 12 February 2024. The third case, inquiry into allegation of misappropriation of public funds, for the construction of Karatina Market in Kira. Karatina Market in.
So maybe let's. Secretary said we have the list. So we sample. Now I'm sampling this one. then CEO would continue presenting, then you can sample another one. We want really to see what might have happened. Okay.
So let me go through case number 2, Chair,
Yes,
with your concurrence. So if we look at the allegation says inquiry into allegation ongoing. At some stage, if you look at the first paragraph on the court action, the DPP applied to withdraw the case against the 7th accused person, just one individual out of the group. That happened on 13th of February 2023. 1 year down the line, the matter was entirely withdrawn by the DPP. So now that is the scenario we have. When we present a case, the first time, there is sufficient evidence in court as per the decision of the DPP. But as the case goes on, the DPP withdraws charges against one individual and then later decides to withdraw charges against the whole group. So in most of these cases, that is the scenario. So unless you want us to...
In such a case, what is supposed to be the recourse? Does it mean then that witness goes scot-free? Yet in your view, he was culpable?
Of course, once charges are withdrawn against a suspect under Section 87A of this Criminal Procedure Code, that person is set free immediately. He is set free. Once a case is withdrawn, he is set free. And the DPP has, under the Constitution, Article 157, to charge, not to charge, to withdraw with the concurrence of the court, or not to withdraw and proceed on to the conclusion of the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Senator Ombo.
Chair, let me understand that case. The honorable member of a parliament then sponsored members of the assembly to go to a trip.
Yes.
Perhaps using his own private money, or I don't know. I don't know whose money he used. And then they were also paid for the same trip by the assembly.
Yes.
So what is the case here? A member of parliament is not using public funds to sponsor a trip to elected members who are perhaps entitled to the trip. They have been paid by the assembly to proceed on the same trip. What is the case?
Well, I'm not saying it is the member of the public who specifically used his money. Money could have even come from other sources like the CDF. But we can only go into the facts if we have the file here, which I don't have. But the only problem here is double payment. That is where the problem is. Were there no, if for example, public funds were not used twice, in the first instance, they wouldn't have been charged. Because remember, this file goes through the process of investigation. It is read by lawyers at the EACC. And finally, it ends up with the ODPP lawyers, who, after perusing all the evidence, decided that here there is sufficient evidence to charge. They were charged. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been charged if there was no clear evidence. But I don't have the file here, with all due respect, Senator, so that I can answer each and every specific issue on the file.
So the fact that you don't have the file, CEO, then makes it a bit complicated for even us to engage. So this is the case that you have brought to us to show that a matter was withdrawn by the ODPP. And I'm saying, next week we are traveling to Busia for Senate Mashinani. Will be paid by the Senate to travel to Busia. What is the crime in Senator Cheragay giving me a tip for the same trip? What's the crime? That's what I'm trying to understand. Because or if transport has been organized by the PSC, Cheragei maybe has a chopper, then he gives me a lift to Busia. Because the person you have referenced here is an individual, a member of parliament. Patrick, what's a crime?
With all due respect, there is double payment. Double payment of public funds is a criminal offense. You can't, for example, be paid by your CDF if you had, for example, if you had MP,
or problem is, that's what the problem
and you
is.
can't also be paid by...
The reference is not to CDF. The reference is not to CDF. The reference is a member of parliament as sponsored MCRs. The assumption, the natural assumption is he's sponsored them from his own pocket.
Yeah,
you're not saying that the CDF funds were used to sponsor, and then the county assembly. That's where the confusion is.
Maybe the case has been paraphrased so much, in fact, we've lost the meaning of the case. The people who are being investigated here are 6 members of Makwiny County Assembly. But then here, the one that has been, whose case has been withdrawn is the 7th. Then we wonder where the 7th has come from. Senator Dula.
Chair, my understanding of the presentation is that the way the statement is crafted is a bit, information is not properly given, because my understanding is there was double payment. Of course, one from Assembly and the other one from probably CDF. That should have actually been indicated here. Now, my question is, CEO, when cases are withdrawn, of course, DPP has powers to withdraw the cases and also prosecute. Do you have that kind of consultation between yourself and DPP so that you know this case has been withdrawn and you have been properly informed that the reason for withdrawing is ABCD, and you have a concurrence on this matter because you serve the same government? Number 2, at what level do you withdraw cases? Because like this one, it has gone through the process. The 7th accused person has been removed. And then, slowly by slowly, all the cases are withdrawn. Yeah? So, where do we go, you know? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Number 1, you have said there is loss of funds as a result of this particular case. Yeah? DPP withdraws one individual. Then slowly by slowly, the rest of the cases are also withdrawn. I don't know whether that is with your consultation, whether the government go back its money, whether the people who have committed the offenses have been charged or not, but in this case they have not been charged. So this is a case that we have just lost as a government. Maybe we need to understand that. Thanks.
CEO.
Can I answer that? CEO, could you go through the chair?
Maybe Senator Mugen first.
Okay.
Yeah, Chairman and CEO. Me, I am, from where I'm sitting, we have a problem. And you know, unless we come out candidly and say we have a problem as a country, we will not get a solution. Because I hear where you are coming from. If, as EACC, a constitutional body, you are in the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, if your work is to investigate cases, you forward to the office of the DPP. And I believe DPP is not a conveyor belt. He reads through your files. I'm sure their files will tell you this one, I don't think there is evidence. He returns them to you. Is that right? Then there are those he says, this one I can proceed. Let the court decide. Now, what you're telling us from all these 18 cases is that he concurs with your recommendation. He takes the matter forward. These guys are charged in a court of law. Then instead of the matter being decided by the court, he again comes back and withdraws these cases. And you have written, column 1, 2, 3, 4, that EACC is never consulted. Gentlemen, don't you think we are having a problem? I mean, how can we run the country, especially on these area of war against corruption. So casually, in a very casual manner like this. So me, I want you to be very candid to us, because Constitution's chairman, Constitution is a living document. If it's not serving the country, we can amend it. If we need to amend the Constitution for EACC to do prosecution, we can do it. Because we need to be candid. We must be candid. Whether you go to the US, they have amended theirs 27 times. Australia has amended theirs 8 times. Canada, they have amended theirs 13 times. So if there is a problem between your office and the office of DPP, we want to hear it from you, so that as the people's representative, we can agree on how to fix the problem. If we sweep these things under the carpet, Chairman, we will not be assisting the country. We will not be assisting the country. So we need to, from where you are sitting, when you tell us you are not consulted, it seems there is a disconnect between the EACC and the DPP. And we need to fix it for the benefit of the people we serve, the Kenyans.
Senator Cherargei. Yeah, let me pick from where my colleagues left, and I'm happy everybody is coming to where I was. There is a disconnect, and I'm surprised that CEO was trying to hide. There are 3 things you cannot hide: the sun and the truth. Because from the EACC action, you were never consulted, and that is why I was insisting, where Senator Duro left, that there is no concurrence before withdrawal of the cases. So you need to tell us, and Senator Okongo Mugeni, with the benefit of hindsight, has indicated that if EACC needs to be given powers to prosecute so that the effectiveness on the fight against corruption can be achieved, so be it. Because now, even I'm being sympathetic and empathizing with you, CEO, and the chair, when Senator Wambua asks you what is the reason. Yet in your action, you have said you was not consulted. So you don't even know the reason why this matter was withdrawn. The person who should give us a reason why it was withdrawn is ODPP. Number 1. Number 2, my second question, Chair and CEO, is on this EACC, Embu ACC E002 of 2021, Republic versus Honest Mans, Mutomi Njuki, and 17 others. Maybe you can use this case, because I can see has a better understanding on where.
Senator Cherargei, can we clear with this one first before you go to another one? Because there are questions asked on this.
My questions are tied what you had raised.
He has not even done presentation on Embu.
Okay, I thought you were sampling, or you were. Okay, I leave it at that. But on the issue of concurrence, where Senator Dula has left chairman, it is good to be honest. If there is a problem, as my colleagues have said, tell us, so that we are the lawmakers. There is nowhere else you will get the lawmaker. We are the lawmakers representing the people. If there is a problem, if ODPP is the weakest link against the fight against, accept, so that we know where the problem is. Thank you, Chair. I yield back.
Chair, I have some information on the same.
Senator Wambua has.
Okay. Just
can give it to you.
So, 2 things. One, to correct the impression maybe that I created to Senator Cherargei, that I was asking the EACC to tell us why the case was withdrawn. That was not my inquiry. Mine was to tell them I don't understand. From the facts presented to this committee, I don't see a case. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Now, Chair, I began by declaring, making full disclosure on the bishop. And the bishop will agree with me, with all of us, that there's a story, a short one, in the Bible captured in Daniel 3, the story of Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, thrown in the pit of fire, and somehow there is a 4th person, in the pit. Bishop, in your case that you brought to the Senate, I see a 7th person that is not part of this case. Your case is against 6 members of Makwiny County Assembly. The first withdrawal of the case is against the 7th accused person. Who is this 7th accused person? Where has he come from?
So Chair.
Chair, I yield back to you. I think CEO will take.
Let me say this. So there was double payment. Let's start from there. Number two, when this case was withdrawn by the DPP, we sued the MCAs in a civil matter. And we recovered all the money that they had been paid through a civil recovery. So what the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has a control over is the recovery processes, a civil process. We have no control over the criminal process. The criminal process, even where the DPP has withdrawn, in most of these cases, we go for civil recovery so that the public funds are recovered back. And that is what happened in this particular case. So as for Senator Wambua's 7th accused, we will need to look at the file and find out who the 7th accused person is.
And then if the withdrawal was for one, what is the fate of the 6, of the, is it 5 or 6? Because then you've already gotten public money and maybe even refunded it to the county government.
So that doesn't exonerate them from the criminal case. We only went for the recovery so that the public doesn't lose everything. And that is the process we do. In all these cases that are where the DPP goes for withdrawal, we go for civil recovery so that the public doesn't lose their money.
Chair, can I say this? Chair, I think you have not answered my question, CEO, where I asked at what level do you withdraw cases? Because I believe once the file is handed over to you by your officers who are doing investigations, you look at the file and analyze the file and ensure that who should be prosecuted and who should not be prosecuted. In this case, the case progressed, and one person, I don't know whatever method is used, as Senator Wambua says, has been dropped. Why do you go full length and then remove one person and proceed with others? You see, that is the question I really wanted to you to answer and understand, because I don't want to cast aspersion on you or maybe on the individuals who have done this particular case. There must be something that happened somewhere, which I don't want you to disclose. But my concern is, you analyze the case and you say this is a watertight case that should proceed for prosecution. Why would this one be dropped at a later date? I thank you.
So, Chair, let's remember it is not EACC that drops the cases. EACC prepares the file, forwards a report together with the file and all the evidence to the Director of Public Prosecution. The Director of Public Prosecution reads the file and concurs that there is an offense and people are charged. As the case goes on, the DPP has the powers to either withdraw or not to withdraw from all the suspects and from some of the suspects. So that is not the mandate of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. And really we can't talk about it because were it our wish, of course the case would have gone to conclusion.
Chair, you know, we said we're here to help each other. We are all partners. I want you to be candid. Is there a problem in the way prosecutions are being handled? Nobody can answer that question other than EACC.
Yes, Chair.
We don't want to go by what we see in the newspapers. We want to hear it from the OC's mouth.
In addition, Chair,
Senator Dulo, yes.
This is your case. Yes. My question is, yes, they have powers to withdraw. Like in this particular case, do you just let it go like DPP withdrawing your cases without even consulting you? Yes. Yeah? Does it really make sense? Because you are the investigators. They are the prosecutors. You are the ones who know who committed the offense and who has not committed. So do you just sit there and say, let DPP prosecute whoever they want to prosecute and agree with them or whether they will consult you or not?
Bishop, I think, okay.
Yeah, just to ride on what Senator Dula said.
All right.
Is as in, I have seen in your, let's just go back. You have said on most of these cases you are not consulted. What do you mean by not consulted? Because if we talk about bad blood and concurrence, maybe you might misinterpret that we are not working. I know these agencies are created by courts. So as Senator Dula said, by the time a matter is being withdrawn by EACC, and I saw it was live on the Obado case, and I saw one of your lawyers stood and objected that they had not been consulted. But I'm happy what CEO has said, that apart from the criminal aspect, you normally go for civil recovery, which is good because we don't, at the end of the day, apart from punishing the criminal element, we also recover our resources as Kenyans. But my concern, as Senator Dula said, at what level does, if today DPP goes to anti-corruption court in Foroda House and they have a case, will they inform your officers that today we are going to withdraw XYZ case? Or does your EACC lawyers go there and do watch brief, listen and then report back? I think that is what we are asking all of us.
Yeah, I think the chair was asking for Mike, or CEO maybe can go first before the chair. Just decide.
Senator had mentioned, it is true, our lawyers actually watch brief. And remember, we are the ones who produce the witnesses and the evidence. We are the ones who actually come to give testimony in court, especially the investigating officer being the last person to testify. But in major cases, we have our lawyers who sit through. And when, in many cases, when the DPP makes that application, in many cases, our lawyers oppose. And it is in court record. But we have no control because the Constitution has given those powers to the DPP. He can do whatever he wants with a criminal case, as long as the court agrees. And in many cases, even where the court doesn't agree with the DPP, if the prosecutor doesn't prosecute, what can the court do really? The court will basically do nothing. So it is a fact, our lawyers sit through, but the decent thing would be, as the investigators who have the facts, when a matter is being withdrawn, that there is that courtesy to ask the investigator, look, we are withdrawing this thing because there is a problem with this case. Maybe the evidence doesn't lead to a conviction. Maybe there is something that misses here. But when the investigator is not consulted on any of these issues, and your hands are tied because we are talking about a constitutional mandate of an individual who can either charge, withdraw, even where the court says proceed, because we've seen instances where the court says you cannot withdraw, proceed, and the prosecutor doesn't prosecute. What can you do? What can the court do? What can the investigator do? Basically, you can't do anything.
Mr. Chairman, just say what you wanted to say.
Thank you. Just wanted, first of all, to respond to Senator Wambua's 3 men thrown in the fire and a 4th one appeared. And in this case, 6 men were thrown in the fire and a 7th one appeared. If you check on our report there, it says 6 members of Makwiny County Assembly and other county assembly. So there were more than, it is the 6 are the county assembly members, but there were others. So that's where the 7th man in the fire came from. Thank you.
Maybe another question for me would be,
yes,
the withdrawal of the 7th accused person,
yes,
or of the case against the 7th accused person, was because of insufficient evidence. But we are told here that the matter was withdrawn entirely on 12th February 2024.
1 year down.
1 year later.
At what stage and how many people had testified by the time a decision was made to withdraw?
Chair, it is indicated that no witness had testified in your report. Is it
Yes.
true? Okay.
Yes, in column 2.
So what occasioned the withdrawal of the entire case? Is it because they were surcharged, the officers were surcharged, or what was the reason given for that? Because the public want to know. They know that there are assembly members who are charged, and the reasons why the case was withdrawn.
But Chair, to be fair to EACC, let me play the devil's advocate. They have, they are saying they have not been consulted. So I doubt if they will know the reason why the matter was withdrawn.
So are you saying this is a case we ask ODPP?
Yeah, this is the case for ODPP because they have indicated in the EACC action that they were never consulted. So I doubt if they know the reason why it was.
You're answering for them and they are here.
No, I'm saying, I'm reading from their own document.
Why do you want to think
I said I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
Why do you want to think that they are here?
No, I'm saying from their report they are saying they was not consulted. So I doubt if they have a reason as to why the matter was withdrawn.
Okay, Senator Dulo.
Chair, CEO is consulting, but I wanted to wrap up on this. From the deliberation and discussions we have, it's like EACC is toothless. Number two, since taxpayers' money has been used to investigate these cases, at some stage you end up losing those cases. Yeah? And we are here to learn from each other and see how we can seal those gaps to ensure that your investigations and the files forwarded to DPP are intact. What do you propose as EACC? Whether amendment of your legislation or policy change? What is your recommendation to actually seal that loophole where you refer the cases, they are withdrawn without your consultation, you are rendered, I don't want to say useless, but toothless. Thank you.
Chair, are you the one who's answering that?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's related to the matter that was raised by Honorable Mugeni. And he's saying that we need to be candid. Some of you may have listened to me speak on various fora where public have raised this kind of an issue. Just this last week, we were in a forum that was organized by ISPAC, an open forum, and this question came up. Now, when we were asked why cases don't move the way they should move, and where public are concerned that they are not seeing the results of the work that we do, and public resources are being utilized. One of the things I've mentioned severally is that our legal framework, the way it is designed now, and that's what Honorable Mugeni was referring to, is such that it would appear that it is for the accused persons or the suspects rather than to fight corruption. So you find that the threshold that is placed is so high, even to prove a case. But even after we have done our work to the best of our ability, and our process are quite rigorous, I would say, as a person who has been in the commission for just over 2 years, coming from the outside where I was among those people who are complaining against corruption, and now coming inside there, I can tell you for a fact that our teams work very hard. The process for a case to be taken from the point of a reporting, whether by a whistleblower, by AG, by Parliament, to the point where we take it to the office of the DPP for prosecution, is a very rigorous process. It is not foolproof, but it's a rigorous process. So when we see cases then go sometimes to the point of getting to court, and then it doesn't succeed, it is not something that we are happy about. And sometimes our own investigators, our teams are very discouraged when they see their work not bearing fruit, because nobody wants to work without fruit. And so there needs to be something that needs to be done to ensure that the work that is done by our teams and the resources, because some of this, especially in big corruption, a lot of money is spent in the investigative process. Some of them go across borders, and our teams have to go to other countries to collect evidence, and even the ones that are local. So you find that we spend quite a significant amount of money to investigate a case. And when it doesn't come through, it is a discouragement, but it is also a loss of resources, as Honorable Senator Dulo has pointed out. So if there's something that Parliament can do, and by Parliament I mean both the National Assembly and the Senate, to rectify that situation, so that, like, Kenyans would want to see the fight against corruption actually be a true fight against corruption. It is not at that level yet. So I would leave it to...
No, you can't leave it. You can't leave it because...
You
can't leave it because, yes. Yes, this is a house of making laws, and so
Yes.
in the right place, say that thing.
Chair, we have said before that it would be good for us if we take our cases all the way through to court. Civil cases, as has been mentioned by the CEO, the law allows us to take our cases all the way through. And if you look at our rate of success, it is in the area of recoveries, where we take our, like this particular case, whereas there was no sufficient evidence to prosecute them for criminal charges, there was sufficient evidence to get them to refund that money. So there's some disconnect that we find there. So we would like to see a situation where, because the passion sometimes is in the person who has investigated this. It's a good arrangement for separation of responsibilities and more objective prosecution. I guess that's why the law in the Constitution provided that one person investigates and the other one prosecutes. But we have had jurisdictions that are doing the same. Our counterparts in Zambia who are visiting with us just recently, the team there, they take their cases all the way to court. So it is something that we would need to look at, but at the moment, the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the country, provides that the prosecution, the DPP, is the only person who can prosecute, and they have the sole responsibility to decide which case goes forward, which case is withdrawn, and there's no other person who can intervene on that matter. And that is not because of the individual holding the office, but is the provision of the law as it is right now.
Thank you. I think...
Chair, as we wait for the amendment of the Constitution, is there anything we can do as far as legislation is concerned, just to assist?
I don't know that we have the capacity to decide what you can do. We have presented the problem. We believe that you are, as honorable members, you have heard our plea and plight. You can make proposals. If you want us to make proposals, we can do that after due consideration. But I would also like to add that we are not complaining just here, but we do discuss and converse with the office of the DPP. Even at the moment, we are in consultation with the same. So we don't have bad blood as such.
No, you don't need to say it. It has been demonstrated.
But we do talk.
So that we can use our time effectively.
So just an example, you're building a good case through the chair.
Okay.
You're building a very good case. If we pick the makwiny case,
which is number?
In terms of the same number 2.
Oh, yes,
in terms of an estimate, how much in terms of public resources was put into this investigation?
And how much was recovered?
Because we want to build these discussions to a level that we can be agents of the public out there.
Okay. Chair, we actually do not have the numbers or as to how much we have put in that particular case. But a local case, like for example, in this one, there must have been some MLA because these people visited Dubai and there was need to confirm whether they actually resided in some of the hotels, whether they boarded some flight. So there must have been some MLA and some international investigation. So in that case, you could be talking of probably in the upward of maybe 500,000 or up to 600,000 thereabout. It's just an estimate I'm giving because in most cases, we don't travel. What we do is we do an MLA to our partner institutions in those countries who also just give us the feedback. But in a normal case, you could be talking of about 500,000. There are others like bribery cases where you wouldn't even talk about 100,000, a case costing in the investigation.
Members, can we agree that we test another case?
Chair, before we conclude, I don't want to let this go. On the matter of consultation and the loss of cases and money incurred by government. Yes, Constitution has tied our hands. You need to do a bit of consultation and see how we can tighten up that loophole so that you don't investigate and end up the case withdrawn without your consultation and without, that complementarity as far as your institutions are concerned.
So, members, if you're in agreement, number one record, please. Yes, Senator.
Let me go on record and make some observations. Chair, my name is Senator Mwenda Gataya, Tharaka-Nithi County. I'm a member of this committee. And Chair, I have captured some levels of frustration from.
Why don't you make the observations in the next case?
No, I want to end up on this one. No, I want to make my observations on this.
Okay.
I think we need some more tangency approach so that we can have a solution to this problem. Because, I've captioned the chair talk about the DPP. Although he's saying there's no bottom line between the EACC and the DPP, there are some segments that are not very clear. I think we need some more tangency approach so that we can have this matter addressed fully. Because it seems there's quite a number of bottlenecks that are trying to make sure that we don't have a success story about the fight against corruption.
Okay. So
I requested number 4.
Yes. I am imagining that all of us are in concurrence that we look at number 4. Maybe.
Okay.
CEO, go through number 4. We see what happened.
Okay. Thank you. If you look at the inquiry, Chair, it says inquiry into allegations of corruption and procurement irregularities against Honorable Onesmus Mudomi Njuki, the Governor, Tharaka-Nithi County, and government officials in the procurement and award of tender to supply, install, and commission a solid waste incinerator. So, Chair, this one, we also prepared the file, forwarded to the Director of Public Prosecution. He concurred with our...
Sorry, as you proceed, do you have the charge sheet on this one?
No, we don't have the charge.
Or somebody in your office can share. We are now digital.
We can share.
Can it be shared with one of our officers so that we look at it in detail?
George?
The charge sheet can be shared. We are now digital, CEO.
No, it will be brought while we are speaking.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Chair, this one, there was a valuation, or rather, the incinerator was estimated to cost about 28 million, and it was given at about 45 million Kenya shillings. Million. So when we forwarded the file, the DPP concurred with the evidence that was on record, and we forwarded the file. The Honorable Governor, together with the other persons, were charged. Then, as the case progressed, the Director of Public Prosecution applied to withdraw the matter in court. and that was done on 6th of August 2024.
To 45, that's 17 million. That's a lot of money. So CEO and the chair, has the matter been moved for recovery on the money? And number two, in your course of investigation, it will benefit the people of Tharaka. CEO, I know you are consulting, whether in your investigation, whether this waste incinerator was eventually installed, even after being overpriced. It is important so that Kenyans can get that position.
Chair, you'll allow me, my colleague, to assist in answering that last question, because it's a technical issue which she dealt with. She's the head of what we call the evidence analysis. She's a lawyer who analyzes all the evidence in the files before they're progressed to the Director of Public Prosecution. So she has some facts which she can share.
Okay, just introduce yourself by name for the sake of the answer, then respond.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Regina Morioki. So to answer Honorable Omogeni's question on the time when Honorable Governor Muthomi Njoki was charged, he was initially charged in Nairobi. Then subsequently, there were several applications to either stop his prosecution. So that took some time, because we know it's not a one-day affair for the application to be made and heard. Then when the decision was made that the prosecution should continue, a subsequent application was made to have the case transferred to Embu. So that explains the duration of time from 2021 to the time the case was withdrawn. The incinerator was delivered, but the evidence we got was it was overpriced, almost double. And that's why, and there was a relationship also on conflict of interest between maybe the governor and other officials. So we believe there was good evidence. But when the DPP withdrew the matter, the reasons were that they had been asked to review. So currently, the matter remains withdrawn.
Chair, out of curiosity, who asked them to review?
It was on the request.
The DPP to review?
Most requests, all requests are made by the accused persons.
Or by the accused person?
Yeah, so they make the request, and then the DPP acting on that then decides to withdraw. So as to what the results of the review are, we don't have So the
Through
case
the
remains
chair,
withdrawn.
is there any civil proceedings on this matter, CEO?
On the recovery of
On
the
the
money.
recovery.
We are on the final bit of
17 million plus.
of moving to court to recover, because remember this was just withdrawn in 2024.
Yes.
Now we had to move in now to collect the evidence on civil recovery. So we'll be moving to court soon.
Soon.
Yeah.
Might it, so that I yield, might it not take long until the culprits cover their tracks?
No, we have the documents, we have the documentation, we have the evidence with us. It's just a matter of putting together the evidence.
And with the indulgence, when you move to court now that there is a technical person, this is of a price of 17 million. When you move to court, do you request that it includes interests and many other things so that it becomes painful?
Yeah, of course, Honorable Cheragai, any suit we file, we have a clause requesting for interest.
Okay.
Yes, but we have the documents to show what the price should have been and what the county got.
Okay.
Because the incinerator had been imported just barely a few months before. We got the price, at what price it was imported at, and at what point it was delivered to the Tharaka Nithi County.
Okay, Chair, yield back.
Just a minute. Yes, Senator Dulo.
Yeah.
But what do you mean overpricing? Because it is willing buyer, willing seller. What are you comparing to when you come up with the conclusion that there was overpricing?
We do valuations, and of course every procurement within the law, one of the principles is competition and fair price. So we look at the price, just like land being sold. If a county is buying land and maybe the market price is 30 million, then if the land is sold at 70 million, and the valuation by government valuers and other hearing to the time when a witness should have been called to testify. It was cut short before it ever began. Thank you.
It's okay, it's now clear, because when you say no witnesses are testified, I can conclude that there are no witnesses. Yeah, thank you.
Chair.
Yes.
Chair, just two issues on that matter. And now we're just sampling these cases. One, 21, 22, 23, 24, 4 years. No witness is testified. And it's okay, we understand to say it's not you to decide when the case begins, full hearing begins. My concern is it would appear, Bishop and your team, that you're not saying it, but it appears like the EACC is entirely at the mercy of the accused persons, the ODPP, and the courts. But that for you will just sit back, do your investigations, sit back. You have no way of pushing action against accused persons. I had taken issue when Senator Dulo was referring to the EACC as she did not use that word. Ineffective. I mean, I just use that. A bit ineffective. Chalagai used a worse word. He said he was being a devil's advocate, meaning I don't know, he was advocating for devils. I don't know what he meant by that. But honestly, Bishop, paint to this committee a picture of EACC in action. Because if after you have done your investigations, all you can do is just sit and wait for things to happen. If they happen, they happen. If they don't happen, they don't happen.
And pray, the chairman said in the State House, we need to pray for the country.
And secondly, because this is a matter we have just sampled, can we use this? Can we get a full file of this case so that we see? Because I guess it is your responsibility to produce witnesses in these cases. Can we just get a full file of this and sample it and see what exactly it is that the EACC is doing? Bishop, you look like that place can be very frustrating. I don't know. Really?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, senators, and thank you, Chair. Like I said, the challenge we have is in the framework, the legal framework that has been put in place in the fight against corruption. So EACC's role and mandate in a corruption case is to investigate. And once we have investigated and we have evidence, we have witnesses, the next step is to take that matter to the office of the prosecutor. The director of prosecution, so that they then peruse through the file and assure themselves that this is a case that is
sufficient to sustain a conviction. You give it to the DPP.
Right.
Is there a mechanism for the EACC and the ODPP to discuss this file before you move to court?
Yes, and we do in some cases. We do. For example, we can forward a file to the Director of Public Prosecution. They go through it and they either want more evidence or there are issues that need to be further investigated and so on. So they return the file to us so that we can do further work on it. And then once we are through with that, we retake it back to them so that they can now proceed and take it. So by the time a file is being taken to court, under normal circumstances, there is it's generally agreed both between the prosecutor and the investigator that there's a case to answer. So really, consultation is part of the process, and we do consult. even as we sit here today, that's why I was saying there's really not bad blood. It is a whole issue of the processes and how it happens, because we do consult even in cases that are ongoing. We continue taking files to the office of the prosecutor, and they have the they come back to us and say, here we don't believe that we have enough evidence. Can you do further investigation? Can you get more documents or whatever it is that they would want? And we actually do that, and forward it to them. Sometimes they come to us and say, this particular case
happens on the basis of a conviction on your side that we have a prima facie case. So let's push this to court. It's always feedback from ODPP. Is that the understanding?
So, Chair, in many cases, for example, when we forward a file to the DPP and the DPP feels that there is no sufficient evidence and returns the file, we do a different opinion, telling him or her, this maybe probably you didn't consider in your analysis of the evidence. Can you please relook at these issues? Because we are convinced that there is evidence. You are saying there is no evidence, but can you look at A, B, C, D, because there is evidence. But it all boils to the goodwill of the DPP, because if the DPP will ask us to meet, because remember he has the file. You know, if I give you a file and tell you, look at this file, you analyze it, it is you to tell me there is something wrong with this file or it is okay. So because as we give you the product, we wait for feedback. So in short, Chair, Senator Wambua, that comes from the DPP because he's the one who has the product. And in cases where the DPP feels that we need to discuss further, we are willing, and we have always discussed. We have always sat down, in some cases discussed, but it depends on the goodwill of the DPP.
Thank you, Chair. Out of curiosity, Chair, one would be interested to know who is the custodian of witnesses in any particular case. Who is supposed to parade witnesses in any particular case?
Witnesses is the investigator, because the investigator is the one who knows the witnesses. He's the one who has recorded their statements. He's the one who has collected evidence. All the evidence, including witnesses.
So this is a particular case, and the investigator comes around, records the statement from witnesses, then all of a sudden the witnesses decline to go and certify.
Sorry, I didn't get the last one.
No, I'm saying we have an investigator from EACC who is supposed to record the statement from witnesses, right?
Yes.
Then along the way, the witness declines to go and certify.
The witnesses?
Yes.
They decline to?
To go and testify against the accused.
Yes.
You have, yeah, I think that's what I've seen quite a number of competitions.
No, that is not the situation.
What is the case? Because
I think the case is simply that your witnesses are never called. The case is withdrawn before you even present witnesses. Yes. I think that's what you are telling us.
Is that what
That's what is happening. That's what they're telling us. It may shock you, but that's what is happening.
So another concern.
They are not given a chance. What you are telling us, you are never given a chance to present your witnesses. Before you get a chance to prove your case, it's withdrawn.
No, another concern, Chair, is there a designated team, maybe from the EACC? This is the team that's supposed now to make maybe some arrangement with the DPP. Do you have a team that is supposed now to look at the case? Or maybe it's left within the powers of the investigator? Do you have a team from the EACC, a designated team that is supposed to look at the quality of the case?
Yeah, okay, let me just. Take you through a process because it's important to understand the process. When a complaint is made, investigation commences. Statements are recorded, evidence is collected, it is presented to a committee within the investigation, within the investigation unit. Later, it is presented to lawyers who will now read the file, go through the file, come up with charges together with the investigator. It is only after that, when the matter is now presented to the commission, now the commission being the supervisory level, for the commission to agree.
Does that worry you? Because I'm looking at 17 cases. All the cases are withdrawn without your consultation. Surely. There is a problem in one of the institutions, whether dissolve EACC or we dissolve DPP. I mean, what do we say? Yeah, I'm sorry to say that. I'm just. That's the truth. I'm just reacting to what we are presented here. It's not that I have anything against EACC or DPP. We're just looking on how we should help this country.
Yeah, Chair.
Or otherwise, you give us a solution to this problem, because there is a problem, CEO.
Yeah, I agree. There is a problem.
But CEO, so that you can answer that same line of what Senator Dulo has asked, is that most of these cases are occasion loss of funds. Have you tried to quantify how much funds have been lost as a result of withdrawal of these cases by ODPP without consulting you? Number two, the assertion by Senior Counsel Lokongo Mogeni that the cases are withdrawn without going to trial, without you being allowed to present witnesses. Is it true for all the cases that they are withdrawn before going for trial?
So, Chair, it is not true that all cases are withdrawn before trial. Some actually are withdrawn when all the witnesses have testified, or even one witness remaining. So it depends on specific cases. Cases here, what we have given you basically are only on counties. If you look at the national government...
Sorry, CEO, to interrupt you. You know, I went through only one case, that number one. Those were 10 out of 18 witnesses had testified. If you look at case number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay? 13. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
So it runs through. You're never given a chance to present your witnesses, at least from what you have told us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm talking of generally.
No, we are concerned with this one because, you know, Malcolm, you have Section 7 of DPP Act. Because we want to push this matter to a level that we can be of assistance to Kenyans. We will need these files with everything, and we have powers. Luckily, you are before Parliament, sitting as a High Court of Kenya. We will also seek to summon the DPP to appear and tell us what motivates him to withdraw these cases. Yeah. And tell us what motivates him to withdraw these cases. What does the section say?
Senior Counsel, and I'm happy you are now in agreement with me. The DPP should have been here so that they can tell us the reasons as to why they are withdrawing most of these cases, because it is very unfortunate, as Malcolm is looking for Section 7, that it was important because in case number 14, just to build up on your rationale, the DPP even has gone ahead and said in Republic versus Ali Buno Korana and 4 others that the DPP indicated that the money has been misappropriated. But DPP had in EACC action, DPP indicated that the review of the evidence had established that the funds misappropriated had been refunded. So, Senior Counsel Okongo Mugeni and the former chair of EACC, was it called Kenya Anti-Corruption? No. This unique. So this, you guys arrested the officials of, I think the then governor and other officials, prepared the file, forwarded to the DPP, say, no, we will not prosecute them, murudisheni pesa tu, na muende nyumbani. You know, it is so tragic. Waliambia rudisheni milioni 200, don't worry, just go home. and
Regina, you have said something, Regina?
Chair, maybe before Regina says something on that issue. No, it's a serious matter. It's not a small matter. It's a very serious matter. Because you are the ones who have done investigations. Then ODPP comes and tells you 233 million has been recovered. And that's it. I mean, that's just it. You know, you don't ask to, I mean, that's it. You have your file that tells you that this money has been misappropriated or stolen. You give it to someone to prosecute, they tell you, hii pesa imelipwa. Funga file. And that's it. What's your recourse? What's your recourse? You know, I'm saying this, Chair, because we had a similar matter. I think it was in Nyamira, where somebody had paid themselves some 6 million or something. You prepare a file, you want to charge the governor for paying himself.
Point of information.
Yes, you can inform me.
It is the governor Nyaribo who overtook the money and decided to return. Yani, rudisha tu, and you go home.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you pay yourself. EACC lands on you, and you realize, hey, there's a problem here. So you go and have arrangements with the ODPP, you return the money, funga file. You know, what are we doing, good people? What are we doing?
Let's give Regina an opportunity. There's something you wanted to say.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to confirm that it's not factual that the DPP recovered this money. This was money given under the Kenya Urban Support Program, which is being given to the counties for infrastructure and all. So the money, once it was sent to Garissa, it was misappropriated instead of being used for the purpose for which,
he's asking,
for which it had been
Tambo is asking,
yeah.
So there is no recourse, simply because DPP has said the money was recovered and they withdrew the case. There is no recourse for you to say no.
No, I think
yeah, they're saying the money is not recovered.
Maybe you allow me to finish, Chair. So I think there was a request for review, as I had explained, that sometimes the DPP gets requests to review evidence.
By EACC?
No, by the defense counsels or the counsels who've been engaged.
By defense counsel, but that is your case.
Yeah, so they make the request directly to him in most of the cases.
So it is your case, it is EACC requesting?
Not EACC, Chair.
The lawyers are asking on your behalf, because it is your case?
They're asking on behalf of their clients who have engaged them.
Okay.
So when a review was sought, I think one of the reasons given was that after the money had been misappropriated and sent to other functions, that there was evidence, they alluded there was evidence that later that money was given back to the
county.
Yeah, so it is on that basis that the DPP says.
So because it's your case, Regina,
yes.
Do you ask to see that evidence? Do you ask to see evidence that this money that I was following has been returned?
I think there is a pending investigation with regard to whether actually that money went back or was used for the purpose.
I thought you are saying factually that money was not.
It seems he is making.
Are you saying there is an investigation ongoing
from some other quarters?
Maybe.
You need to be honest.
Yeah,
Your
being
chairman
honest.
is a bishop.
Yeah.
You need to be honest.
You're being honest, Chair.
Are you aware whether this money was refunded, yes or no? Through the chair, you normally engage with DPP. At some point, you say there's a disconnect. Now that at some point, let me use the part that you say you engage. Let me leave the part that you don't engage. Have you engaged them on this 233 million belonging to the great people of Garissa, whether it has been refunded?
Thank you. I think our Regina has mentioned that that matter is not conclusive. It's not conclusive. So we are not sure of whether this money was refunded, and if so, how. Because in some of the cases,
so this is your case. We're supposed to be sure.
Yes, and I think we have. I think, Chair, we have said that whereas we are investigators, we investigate cases, we prepare evidence, we get witnesses, and we get convinced that here is a case that
the problem, Chair, is your officer,
yes,
whom we had delegated, that's Regina, to answer on your behalf, said with certainty that money has not been refunded.
That's why we
very
say
emphatically.
Yes.
So we are asking, has that money been refunded or not?
And through the chair,
answer is no.
Bishop, Chairman,
yes,
we are aware of your role. Our curiosity through the chair on this case number 14 on the Garissa matter is where does it lead? Because one of the court action EACC has indicated says that DPP had said money had been recovered. So I'm asking, whenever you engage, because you have said there is no bad blood between you and DPP, have you not, out of curiosity, asked them where is this money, 233 million? No, not as a bishop, as the chair of EACC. The matter of bishop, we leave it to Senator Wambua and Senator Okongo.
Chair.
I think, Chair, I would request CEO to answer because he has familiarity maybe with the matter.
But you have said he comes from the same country.
No, let me just give a general answer. Chair, when we received your letter asking us to provide a report on the status of the cases that have been withdrawn by the DPP, we were not prepared to give details. Otherwise, we would have come with files and with all the records so that we can quickly refer and
let me just
Chairman,
I think there's a problem. Out of order, completely out of order.
No, let me just try and clarify what I was trying to say.
Chair, no.
Okay, I withdraw.
Yes,
that's statement.
Yes, that's better.
It is if the taxpayers, Kenyans, listen to what you are saying.
Yes,
it will not be business as usual.
Thank you.
Because
I feel I am
out
guided.
of curiosity, if today I am a chair of EACC, which I don't dream of becoming, is today I have a file on my table, CEO, and I see there is 233 million that is has it must prick my conscience as a good citizen. I must ask myself what is the status, and Regina should have been running around to tell us where these 233 million belong to the people of Garissa. You come from Garissa. Are you aware a kilometer from town there is no running water in Garissa town? Then this money should have assisted to fix. So in fact, you should be so mad in quotes that you should be worried that money has been mismanaged and there is no water.
Services because
Just like that, 47 of them. Where will this country be? And Chairman, remember, Chairman, I have to be kind of to you because I used to see that I know the hit you face. But you see, 2 years, by the time you come here, you should have full facts. And for your information, you don't walk to Parliament without facts, details, files. Because we should actually close the meeting. The time that statement you made that you didn't carry files, we should just stop there and say meeting adjourned. Go and come back with the files.
Yeah, as chair,
you know,
CEO,
but
EACC,
really
yes,
experienced. I think you're the most experienced CEO that EACC has ever had. So all these cases should be at your fingertips. You know. So since 2023 May,
not that you talk.
It happened. This happened in 2023 May.
I needed a ruling.
2023 May, CEO. Does it mean that there has not been any intervening action from 23rd of May 2023 to date?
You have some order.
Thank you, Chair. What I can recall very clearly is when we were investigating this thing and the matter, and when the DPP was closing the file, what came up is that this money, the money that we are talking about, had been lent to other ministries within the county government. It was meant for urban development, for drainage.
Can I stop you there?
No, let me just finish.
No, can I stop you there? CEO?
Just a minute.
You cannot allow this to
let
pass.
him just finish. Let him finish.
Now,
because then what he's saying. What you're saying points to misappropriation.
Misappropriation.
But what is here is embezzlement. So just continue.
I agree, it is embezzlement. That is not allowed in law, actually, because these monies were specifically meant for that is not allowed in law, actually, because these monies were specifically meant for urban development, drainage, water, and some market. But after we proposed charges, it was indicated that this money had been lent to other ministries and it was refunded back now to the specific function that it was meant to do, because according to the explanation that was given at that time, that the Kabila Fund, which is of course World Bank financed, and they used that money to fund other projects within the county government. But you see, that is the way it is. What we are now doing is actually to verify whether we can actually move to court for civil recovery.
What are you recovering, CEO? Just a minute. And as per DPP, he said it has been misappropriated, and so that money was refunded back to the departments. Now, have you gone to investigate again from 23rd May 2023? If not, CEO, what have you been waiting for?
You see, we have two functions after the file was closed. Now we are
and returned to the votes. There was no money lost.
Chair, we are not arguing, but what I'm saying,
yes,
you cannot determine issues before an investigation. You know, if we are seated here, we cannot make a conclusion before these facts are put together, geared towards a recovery.
What are you recovering? And yet there was no money lost. What happened? It was misappropriated from one vote to other votes.
We don't know.
Two issues. According to investigation, misappropriation has been done.
Yeah.
DPP told you the money has been refunded.
Yes.
Before the file is closed, you should have actually confirmed the money has been returned to the right department. Once you have established that, the officer, this is by government procedure, the officer who has misappropriated the budget or the money should have been charged. And you are the one actually who should prescribe that as the EACC. So where are we?
Just to add on that, we want to see the charge sheet, because I can see you took the governor to court under EACC number E39 of 2020. Is that right, CEO?
Yes, yes.
So we want to see the charge sheet. What was he charged with? Okay. And the reasons why the case was withdrawn.
Okay.
And you have not indicated whether people are testified. What is the position on this one? That column does not indicate. At what stage was it withdrawn? Because the case was for 2020. Does it mean up to 2023 May, nobody had testified in court?
Okay, let me say that, let's clarify these facts for you some at a later stage.
Yes.
Because you see, we don't have all the facts. As the chair indicated, let's reconfirm some of these things. Because if we drag on one issue, it may take a lot of water.
Not dragging, we're just doing two issues, and then we go to the 2023. We'll not look at all of them. So,
allow me, please.
Yes, Senator Amwa.
CEO, let's go to that case, 14, okay?
14, okay.
Yeah. So, DPP action on May 2023, 8th, the case is withdrawn, right?
Yes.
And the reasons are given there, which is the DPP indicated that review of the evidence had established that the funds misappropriated had been refunded. Are we together up to that point? Let's go to EACC action. What is your action? Just read it for us, your action.
Okay. EACC action, DPP indicated that the review of the evidence had established that the funds misappropriated had been refunded.
That's your action.
That is the comment we have given here.
Is that your action?
Yes, we are explaining what happened.
Chair, this is my point. And it feels bad when I have to sit here and say certain things about EACC, where my bishop is the chair. But because there's work to be done, let us just do what we need to do. Chair, I take the view that we have actually a bigger problem at the EACC than anyone is willing to admit. You have been applauded by a former chair of anti-corruption as being the most experienced person to fight corruption within EACC as the CEO, because you've gone through the ranks. That what you have read to us is the action of the EACC on a matter where 233 million is either lost or misallocated or misappropriated or embezzled or whatever it is that happened to it, then we have a big problem. Because if this happened in 2023 May, as you said, it's more than 2 years down the line. And the action of the EACC is that the DPP indicated that the money has been refunded. No view, we have a big problem, and the CEO of EACC. This is just one county. And you know what happened to the Kenya Urban Support Program 1 and 2? We all know. You know, we can hide, try to hide, but we all know that there was serious misappropriation and theft of those funds. We can say provide evidence or whatever it is that we say, but we all know it. And we know that that program has since collapsed. A program that was supposed to really help us, especially in our journey of devolution. Now, if 233 million just appears like that, and there is no view of what happened to that money and how we can recover that money, that is one county. We have 47 counties. Chair, I have nothing more useful to say.
Senator
just in 30 seconds.
Just before you go.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, we are looking at few cases so that you can bite deep. We had the option of looking at all the cases so that we bite shallowly. But we elected just look at 2 or 3, then we go very deep. So here, you know, this action, EACC action, is very interesting. DPP indicated that review of the evidence had established that the funds had been refunded. That is not an action. That is just an observation. So we needed to know what EACC had done after it discovered that the funds misappropriated had been refunded. You should have gone back to the county and at least did investigation. The path that we want to follow is CEO of doing investigations with the view of having civil proceedings to recover. There is no money to be recovered here because it was refunded to the votes that was supposed to use this money. Senator Terargei.
So that you make a ruling, because I think we have conversed on it much. I think there is a question you ask which the CEO and the chair need to ask. In most of these cases that DPP has withdrawn unilaterally without consultation, how much likely, you had given us approximation, but you didn't give us on the 17th. Finally, you know, Regina, if you are doing evidentiary analysis, you know, money that is such as Kenya Up and Support Program from under the PMF Act is based on special purpose account. You know that. Under the PMF Act, if you have to do a reallocation of money, you do supplementary one in a county assembly, even at the national level. So you should be giving us that when this money was put at special purpose account, then you should give us evidence that under supplementary one, the reallocation was approved by the county assembly of Garissa under the Public Finance and Management Act. And then finally, in this reallocation, the programs, because the law under the PMF Act, you cannot spend the money without approval in the budget. Today, it's not like your money. Even if today the committee of the Senate, we must go through reallocation process, which is under supplementary, either 1 or 2. So in your investigation, as you rule the chair, as you rule, I think, Chair, what I am requesting, I know you are consulting, what I am requesting, because we have canvassed, is for you to direct the EACC to give a status report on where this money is. And also, when DPP appears, they should tell us how did they know it was recovered. I thought this has been a good news that they should have shared with EACC by saying, look here, gentlemen, this is 233. This is where we have traced the money. You are the investigators. Here is your file. Can you follow up on this? So, Chair, can you rule that this matter is kept in view? Let us get in the next 14 days on the status of this 233 million plus. And this is a lot of money that would have changed. And I agree that COOPs 1 and 2 Even Nandi, we had similar appropriations where they were doing footpaths, they were doing a market, the county assembly investigated. These matters were referred to EACC, but that is why there was a bad record in terms of money getting from the World Bank. So, Chair, can you just direct that in the next 14 days, the charge sheet both by the DPP and EACC be provided to the committee?
I think members, even DPP, to come and hear their part of the story. But the way our letter was worded, we wanted to have all the letters, all the cases cited from 2013 to date, whether the files have been withdrawn, whether the cases have been withdrawn or not. And also in terms of tabulation, we wanted to know the cases forwarded to EACC. Have they been taken to court? When were they taken to court? That type of tracing, so that the public can know where the cases are. Because we've been accused as Senate and Parliament that there's nothing much we're doing. But we're telling them, normally we forward our cases to EACC. EACC does not prosecute. It is DPP who prosecutes. So we wanted to know also where the loose link is. The weak link will be established on. I want to direct as follows, that let us have all the files, the charge sheets and the files that have been closed. Number 4, 17 million was lost in the Rakanithi County. We want to know how it will be recovered. Have you instituted civil proceedings to recover this 17 million? We want to know the action around this 17 million lost, because these are public funds. Members, I think we can take some few minutes. We don't intend to stay further than 2, but no, there is the other part. The part 2. Of the cases that we are taken to EACC,
yes, on 23-24
for the year ending June 2024.
23-24.
It is
23-24.
Yeah, it is there ending June 2024.
Okay.
It is 23-24. Yes. So maybe.
Chair, can I request that we do one test on the Nandi County Executive 101?
So, Chair, EACC,
maybe you can pick.
Where is the page?
They have not paginated, but number Nandi Executive 101.
Nandi Executive.
Was the last before the esteemed and distinguished signature of Abdi M. Mohammed, MBS, the CEO. Yeah, maybe you can sample that. Yeah, it is on the last part. So the one that we had forwarded for recommendation as the committee.
Yes, CEO, let's look at that.
Let me say the second part, Chair.
Yes.
Remember, these were the committee, or rather the Senate looked at these matters in March. The report, I'm giving a general view of all of them.
Sorry, let me improve on my direction. A bit, Can you give us the cases in 14 days?
This
the files that we requested for 14 days.
Remember, we don't have the court files. We can only provide our files.
Yes.
Yeah. So
14 days?
14 days is...
With the evidence?
Yeah, is good enough.
It's so directed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Chair...
You want to add something?
Sorry, if to help us, where there is... an application filed by DPP in court, because you said you have officers holding brief. Get us copies of those applications.
Okay.
Okay?
So, yeah.
And because we want to help each other, if you can also get us proceedings. Let's have a set of the proceedings. Like there are cases you have cited, they are dragged because applications are filed. You know, you are looked at being professionals. This is known as yes. So if you give us facts backed with evidence, you make it easier for us. Yeah.
Thank you.
So that ruling also goes for the tabulation that we asked for. Okay. All the cases from 2013 in all the counties. Whether they're still there in court? Yes.
Chair, I seek indulgence on this matter. That second leg of responses is a lot more current than the previous one. I heard you say that we will not be here past 2. It's not like 20 minutes to 2. I would rather you don't rush this section, Chair. I would rather we have another day to deal with this matter. This is a very, very current issue. Because if we say that we just gloss over this for the next 20 minutes, I don't know what we'll be able to achieve out of it. That's just my concern.
Auditor General's report in July of this year. And that being 2 months down preliminary stages where we are collecting documents and we are recording statements. So in all these cases that were in the auditor's report, which the Senate approved, I think, sometime in March this year, and were available in the Auditor General's report in July, these are fresh cases in our records, and nothing much has been done. But for the old cases, we have done. There are some cases where we've engaged. There are cases where we've, recommended to Kenya shillings 343, 381, 962. Okay, 77 purchase orders for Department of Roads and 40 purchase orders for Department of Finance and Economic without explanation in the financial year 2023-2024. So what we have indicated there is preliminary investigations ongoing to inform further action. So, Chair, the totality of all these cases is we picked them in July this year. They are very fresh, but we have already done most of them. We've done the preliminary investigations, and there isn't much to report on fresh cases that are only 2 months with us, while we have many, many other cases that we have been dealing with in the past.
So including so on the issue of 101 through the chair, so the preliminary investigations are ongoing.
Yes.
That's your answer. But looking at the one on, you have indicated, let me just pick one. I have seen, Chair, just indulge me, on cases DPP should consent and subsequently withdrew the consent. I think that one we had discussed, Chair. I just wanted to pick one, Chair, on, is it you have not paginated, you have, there is one on Nyamira, where you have...
But even before you go to Nyamira, CEO, when you say preliminary investigations ongoing, what have you done? What is the action that you've done? You've written maybe to counties. What have you done?
Documents.
Yeah, the first thing we do before we commence investigation is to analyze the evidence and what is required. So we come up with a work plan, which basically guides us on how to go about it. In most of these cases, we've done letters to the county governments. In others, we are analyzing the evidence that we have. Remember, we are relying on a report from the Auditor General. The Auditor General's report doesn't give all the evidence that is required to prosecute a criminal case. It basically gives an overview of what they came up with. In some cases, they have not been given documents to verify what they were looking for. And they raise that as a query. So, in all these cases, because we picked them in July this year, and we've had them only for 2 months, and we have many other cases that we've been dealing with in the past, they are the preliminary stages where we do letters, and next thing, of course, is to collect evidence and to invite the witnesses for statement recording.
I don't know if to prejudice, my question would prejudice the type of investigations that are ongoing for the sake of voided payments, because this is a big issue in the Senate, and it's a major culprit now.
In the countries, not the Senate.
And what type of documents would we be asking for to try and crack this issue of voided payments? Because for voided payments, the county would requisition for money from control of budget. Then when that money is sanctioned, then they pay different suppliers. So what type of documents would we be looking for?
So, Chair, first of all, we'll be seeking the IFMIS records to see, and of course the allocations made by the COB. And then because it's alleged they got the money but then spent it for other purposes, maybe which were not even planned for. So we will ask for procurement documents. And then we'll also want documents to show us how did they spend the money and where did they spend it. Or did they then divert it and it ended up being embezzled without any services being rendered. So there will be a raft of very many documents to answer to the question, was avoiding intended to divert the monies somewhere else or in ghost projects or works which never benefited the many counties, because we have several of them. And we noticed it's a big deal, so it will be a big investigation. And what will happen is the investigation teams, the first thing we do is get the documents first, as the CEO is explaining, to do a preliminary and just get a feel of where is this going and how far and to what extent might we go. Because we may do some and find there was no voiding. Or maybe at the time the Auditor General...
But was that for good? Reasons.
Yeah, for good reason. Or we find the allocations maybe were okay. So there may be a raft of several findings in the files depending on the circumstances of each.
Thank you, Regina. Sentadulo?
Chair, I just wanted to say something on voiding payments. I think EACC, you need to focus in that area because there's a big problem as far as voiding payment is concerned. And COB has expressed that once she approves the payment on this side, on the other side, she doesn't know how payments are done by IFMIS. So if you look at all the counties, the same thing of voiding is happening, a lot of money. And actually that is as a result of also pending bills, because the intended contractors are not paid. others are paid outside. So I think maybe you need to focus in that area and see how you can be able to help northern governors to come up with the legislation on how that payment is effected. It's almost 10 years plus. Counties are paying. I don't know what you are going to do about that, but because I've seen you have written to AG, but clearly you have lawyers in-house who should be able to tell you this is illegal.
An observation on what, and I know Regina, you should know this, and CEO and Chair. The Public Audit Act, Section 53. You know this after the resolution of House in the March. The Section 53 of the Public Audit Act is very clear that they made recommendations on the audit report. A, take the relevant steps to implement the recommendation of Parliament on the report of Auditor General. So, EACC, I don't know when did you receive the resolution of the Senate, because I thought it adopted. It is normally transmitted directly through the clerk of the Senate to the entity, including EACC, DPP, and other stakeholders. So you can see, if we were to assume that you did receive in April or March, you should not be discussing about preliminary investigations. You should be telling us either you are 50% into investigations or you are 20%, because that is what the Section 63 of the Public Audit Act demands of all of us. Because I know investigating white-collar crime or white-collar crimes is a bit technical because of the many aspects that is involved, but having preliminary almost 6-7 months down the line does not look very good. So which defense do you have?
What is the challenge?
For these specific ones, it's us actually who had to go to the website to retrieve the information. We didn't receive that information directly.
Oh, from our clerk in the Senate?
Yes.
Okay.
We didn't receive. We only, after receiving the letter, is when now we had to look for a report from the website, the report of the Auditor General. Okay. And there was no direct transmission.
Herman and
it was
CEO,
11th of July.
It's because Kenyans are restless. They really want to know what we are doing. You know, when you go to the village, for us who are politicians, every weekend, you go and tell people asking why the bridge has not fixed, you are being told corruption. Then they're asking you, what are you doing about it? That is why we are struggling to try and join you in the fight against corruption. Because we need anybody who takes public money to be prosecuted as soon as possible, even as soon as yesterday, so that Kenyans can see you are doing something about it. And that is how you'll win back the confidence of the commission. Because if you arrest somebody and prosecute after a thorough investigation, it gives the confidence of the public. That's why all of us, whether you are in EACC, you are in judiciary, you are in parliament, we are being accused that we are spending taxpayers' money through the chair, but they are not seeing value for their money. So did you receive the letter?
The letter that we have. The timelines.
Yeah, within the timelines of 3
months. Or even this one is status report. Even this one is status report.
It is status report, but it's beyond the 3 months. Yet the Section 53 mandates them to respond back to our recommendations and resolutions. So when he said, not on invitation, we invited them to come.
Yes. Assuming you didn't invite them.
But the law provides that they are the ones to update us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah? I'm asking them.
The way Section 6 of the DPP Act.
Chairman, assuming we didn't write to you, would you have written to us, giving a status report?
Chair, we normally give a report, quarterly reports that we send to Parliament on the status of all the files and cases that we have, those that have been investigated, prosecuted, everything, including the ones that are still undergoing investigation. So that we do as a matter of procedure.
But I thought that is different. Because Section 53 of the Public Audit Act is specific on the recommendations and resolution after OAG.
Can you read the section, Malcolm?
Section 53.
As Malcolm goes through that section,
I've already read the section.
You've read the section?
Yes, let me just repeat with your indulgence. Section 53 of the Public Audit Act, implementation of reports by an accounting officer, subsection 1. The relevant accounting officer of a state organ or a public entity, now the EACC, shall within 3 months after Parliament has considered and made recommendations on the audit report, A, take the relevant steps to implement the recommendations of Parliament on the report of Auditor General, or B, give explanations in writing to Parliament on why the report has not been acted upon.
That's clear, Chairman.
It's clear, Chairman.
Very clear.
And you are working
that
with
that section should be complied with.
CEO.
I think, Chair, the letters that we have received are the ones that actually called us to.
But the one on our resolution.
Do we have it? Just go through it.
We need to confirm because
George, was it received?
But CEO, you know, that's why we're having this engagement, so that we tie the loose ends. If we have not been able to comply, we can agree on how you will comply going forward. That's the purpose of this engagement.
So, Chair, we'll check later on when the letter was released.
The previous practice has been that whenever you make a resolution, the report was usually forwarded to us. But you know, now I think we've all gone digital, and when we received these letters is when we went to the website to check the report of the Auditor General. That is when we downloaded and we were able to work on this report, and that was in July. But as Senator Omugeni says, we all need to improve, and I agree. We need to have a better way of coordinating, between the two institutions.
Okay. Because we've indicated that in several cases investigations are ongoing, how much time would you want us to give so that you can give us another report? Because there are some cases that are quite straightforward. Like if you look at 83, the allegation of irregular procurement of prime mover and 5 large tippers, dump truck, at a cost of 61,300,000 shillings, out of which an amount of 22,550,000 was paid in the year 2023-2024. It is alleged that the equipment was acquired and delivered in the financial year 2022-2023. However, the purchase of the heavy machinery was not included in the annual development plan of the said year. So how long would it take you to do an investigation on this one so that you give us a report? And several others that look quite straightforward and look quite easy.
Chair, let me say that these are not the only matters that we are dealing with at the Commission. There are very many cases that are still ongoing. We'll have to find space to accommodate these other ones, remembering that we have limited resource in terms of the investigators and the lawyers that are to do with it to handle the cases. So we will give it our best, identify those high-profile cases, at least whether it is one case per county, because we will not be able to accommodate 110 cases, 102 cases at a go, while each investigator is already running with 10 or 20 other matters, which are half done. So we will have to accommodate them as much as we can, but for now, we cannot commit ourselves and say, this is when we'll produce the reports.
Chair, CEO and Chair. So, CEO, if Kenyans are listening to you, what do you think they would imagine? Because if you are using that assessment, then in short you are saying it can take the next 2-3 years. Is there a way you segregate cases so that there are cases that, and your lawyers and investigators are here, that is it possible to segregate cases so that the cases that are direct, you know, I agree if there are cases who use MLA and international aspect, it can take long because of catering. But if the cases are open and shut, shouldn't you have a timeline? Because you remember, and luckily I served as the JLAC chair in the last session, there were even proposals when I think when the current Nurdin Haji was DPP, there were even suggestions among Kenyans that issues of corruption we should conclude within 2 years, 24 months. There were even that suggestion. So having that in mind, do you think a feasibility where we can amend the law and say through the chair that corruption cases should and must be concluded within 24 months so that Kenyans get value for? Because I remember in one case, Nandi County, for example, your officers came and I know you might be aware of this case on the payroll scandal. They carted away documents, they have people who are fired. Up to now, 2 years down the line, no one has been arrested. So when you even go and tell my people in Nandi, you know, EACC walikuja wakafanya uchunguzi, they will ask you, are you mad? Because they have waited for 2 years even for a clerk to be arrested. And that matter, by the way, is open and shut. Because the people who are earning money legally through the payroll were people who are ghost workers. They are known. It is easy to track them. I'm just giving an example. I don't know the status of the investigation, but I'm just giving an example because the payroll shows XYZ was earning money without working. So I thought that is a very easy case to prosecute, because if it was Cherargei, for example, earning for chief officer, yet he was not working, you can invite them for statements and prosecute. So is there a way you can segregate cases? Say that you are telling Kenyans, look, these cases XYZ, we found it that they are open and shut cases, we'll prosecute. For these cases, because it has aspect of complexities, we will do this. And that comes to the question. Because I know where you are coming to, on the issue of appropriation by parliament. I know that is a challenge, and resources and what have you. But you have regional offices. What is the role of your officers in regional offices like in South Rift, in North Rift, in Garissa, in Coast? What is their role? Are they supposed just to go and arrest, then forward all the files to Nairobi, or what do they do? Thank you.
Chair, let me comment on the last, the last case that the senator talked about. That case is right now being read by the lawyers. That is the last stage. So we expect in the next, maybe in the next 2 or 3 weeks, that file should progress to the DPP for charging. Now, as to our policy, we have a policy in terms of prioritizing cases, because every 1 year we receive more than 3,000 reports, complaints. Remember, we receive reports from the Senate, we receive reports from the National Assembly, we receive reports direct from the Auditor General, we receive reports from members of the public who walk in. The number of investigators we have are about 200. Now, if you are to deal with 3,000 complaints in 1 year to be handled by 200 investigators, that's a tall order. So we have a policy, and we've come up with a procedure to prioritize our cases. The first thing we look at is the public interest in the case. Like the case you talked about is of high public interest. Now, the next thing that we consider is the value of the money involved. If, for example, you have a case where you have 100 million and another case you have 100 billion shillings, we will prioritize the 1 billion shillings. To the complainant who brought that complaint of 100 million shillings, it looks big and it should be dealt with tomorrow. But that is the reality, because we have to deal with the resources that we have. Number 3 is actually the personalities involved. If, for example, you have a very senior personality, public officer, it takes a precedent over a junior officer, for example, like a clerk. So when we put cases along those measures, there are cases that will not be fast-tracked, other cases will be fast-tracked. So that is why, Chair, you will allow me not to commit to a time frame on this report, but in our next meeting, we will have been able now to indicate, looking at all factors that are available, to indicate when we are likely to forward or to conclude these matters. Thank you, Chair.
Just to donate members, closing remarks to Senior Counsel, Senator Omogeni, you will comment. Then we give the CEO, the Chair, to give your final remarks, and then you close the meeting. We said we would close our meeting at 2. Senator.
Yeah, just to thank the team from EACC Chairman, CEO, and others. This is a useful engagement because as a committee, we want to enhance good governance, proper utilization of resources that go to our counties, and we can never have a better partner than EACC in this endeavor. And as you have heard from Senator here, we all get serious challenges from our respective counties. People want to see how impactful resources that have gone to our counties, how effective have the resources been to the people at the counties. And the people expect those who have embezzled public resources to face sanctions, to face consequences. And the only entity that Kenyans look up to, or even us as a committee, it's EACC. So let's open this chapter of collaboration, working together, ideas on any changes to the law that you think will enhance your capacity of being very effective, because that's what we want and that's what Kenyans want. And the Bishop, I know that's a hot seat, but you are a man of God. Take courage. Even me, I used to be there. I left. I have not died. I'm still living. So, yeah, take it on with courage. Many countries even go after retired presidents. I saw, I think yesterday, I saw somebody in, where is our Natra? Where does he come from? Which country? Was jailed for 1 year. I've seen presidents, former president South Korea, so that you send a message that really nobody is a sacred cow. But thank you for coming. Let's have more of these engagements. I'm sure they will be fruitful in enhancing what you do and what is expected of us to Kenyans who are stakeholders, you and us. Asanteni.
CEO Abdi Mohammed.
Thank you. I think I also want to thank the committee for the invite. We are always willing to support and give the committee any information that they require. We take any criticisms that have come across as in good faith. We don't take anything personal. We are here to serve the public, our Kenyan public. But I just want to make one observation. I think the Senate, being the house that is supposed to look after the county governments, need to come up with proper legislations to deal with issues around the county governments, especially when it comes to good governance. It should not be that we only deal with issues like we are firefighting. In the last presentations that we made here, we made one suggestion. When we looked at the risk, analysis that we do within the counties, the risk, the counties, the risk they face, we identified the human resource as the biggest risk. And if you look at the list that we have given on the offenses committed, it basically has to do with offenses that are deliberately committed by the human resource or are committed by human resource that are compelled to do certain things. One of the suggestions which would deal with this thing in the long run would be if the management of the human resource would be delineated or removed from the county governance management. And one of the ways of doing that is to create a central body that deals with all matters HR within the county governments, like establishment of a county public service board that looks at all counties. I know someone will say these are different governments, but if they have one central COG, why can't we think of a way of putting the human resource management in one body? Counties Public Service Board that will be able to recruit, transfer, deploy, promote, train all county government officials. Because, Chair, you will excuse me by saying this, that when we visit the counties, you will find counties affairs being run by people who are not qualified. You will find someone who is not a specialist in procurement or who is not a member of KISIM being in charge of procurement in an institution in a county government. You will find someone who has no background or experience on finances, managing the county finances. What you would expect out of that is a situation where there will be chaos. So, Chair, what I would propose is as you engage us, as you criticize the public bodies that are supposed to deal with governance issues, I think the role of what I would encourage you is to look at the bigger picture. What solutions can we come up with in terms of legislation? And to conclude, the county public service boards are formed under a statute. They are not formed under the constitution. So the constitution, I can't remember the article, but basically we'll talk about there being staff of the county governments. But it's the act that actually specifies the constitution of these specific bodies. So, Chair, I conclude by saying we are willing and ready to take criticisms wherever it comes from, but I think the Senate also need to look at the bigger picture so that we don't continue firefighting issues governance. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Very, very good recommendations, like the one of forming an umbrella public service board. In the last parliament, we tried it in the Labour Committee with Senator Sakaja to try and have an umbrella county public service board that can harmonize employment, can be in charge of even transfers. Right now, transferring a doctor from Nairobi to Mombasa is extremely problematic. So I think that is something you can take home. And even having a policy framework for all the employees is quite necessary. So I think, yeah, that's a good take home. Chairman Bishop Oginde, your closing remarks.
Thank you, Chair. We want to appreciate your invitation to this committee and the interrogation of the issues that we are dealing with. I want to take it very positively because I think there are issues that have come up that would otherwise not have come up in regard to the best way we can deal with issues of corruption. Senator Omugeni raised the issue of how can we be assisted to be more effective in our work. And two things have come up. One is the whole issue of the process and the legal framework. That is something that as senators and as parliament need to look at. How do we strengthen the work of the commission so that we can deliver on the mandate that we have been given within our constitution and within our laws. And Kenyans, as you have said rightly, are looking up to us to be able to deliver this. And we, as a commission, are ready. And I can assure you, senators, that we are very committed to the work of dealing with issues of ethics and anti-corruption in this country. And we do our very best to pursue that. But there are those hurdles that need to be looked at, and we appreciate the fact that you have observed the same and you are willing to do something about it. The second is the issue of resources, and resources, not just money, but also human resource. For example, Senator, unfortunately, has just walked out, and he asked, what are our regional staff doing? You'll find our regions, we have 11 regions, which some of them cover 4 or 5 counties. And there is only one investigator for those 4 or 5 counties. So if a matter comes up within a county and we refer this to our regional team to look into it, you have this one person, and many times the person would have even been known within the region. And so when they are doing investigations, it is very difficult. And that's why they have to keep referring. We have to get them support from the head office. And even the head office, we are overwhelmed by the number of cases. It is unfortunate, but the issue of corruption is really growing in our society. So the cases that we have to deal with that the CEO has just mentioned are overwhelming. So we would like to appeal to Senate and Parliament to just see how can we be resourced so that we have at least 3 or 4 investigators within a region so that they can handle the matters that are within that particular region effectively without having to wait for a very long time. That's why you found the CEO was unwilling to make a commitment with specific dates as to when are we going to get action on these particular files, because we also deal with other at national level, at in parastatals, in other institutions, agencies. So that empowerment needs to be looked at so that we have the capacity to be able to trace all these cases that come our way. But otherwise, we just want to assure this committee, Parliament, and of course the general public that the issues of investigating and dealing with matters corruption are in good hands, and we are committed to do whatever it is that we have been mandated to do to the best of our ability. But those two areas need attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, for coming, and your team. We want to close the meeting, but I must say that I don't admire your position at all. Because Kenya, corruption is a way of life. I know when it becomes a way of life, fighting it is extremely difficult. You don't know where the head is. You don't know where the tail is. So you're fighting something, that animal that goes right, left, what is it called? It has a name, Dumakuili. So it's a very difficult thing. That day when we decide to have independent institutions in Kenya, as stipulated in the Constitution, then we can fight corruption effectively. When we have an independent parliament, independent EACC, independent Auditor General, independent DPP, because at times we feel that our institutions are not extremely independent. Otherwise, how is it that when a regime takes over, then cases are withdrawn right, left, and center? It means there is no independence. If you want to fight corruption in Kenya, you can fight corruption. If you are a chief officer in a county and you build a house worth, in 2 years, worth 20 million, and your salary can't support that, that is a product of corruption. Let's seize it. If we don't tighten our laws and work on our ethics, and hear your preachings as bishop, but even the churches also. Churches are fighting. Leadership is fighting. Why are they fighting? It is resources. It is corruption. So I think we need prayer, prayer, prayer. We pray for each other. We pray for our country so that this cancer of corruption can heal. Thank you so much, all of us. Our meeting is adjourned until, George? Monday, what time?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Thank you, Kibet.
Murang'a County Executive.
Murang'a County Executive. On Monday. Mkutano umeisha.